language Zulu, that's hello, my friends. I'm cleaning the spider's cobwebs off the walls. And that reminds me, do you know the story of Isidla Kudla Ulwembu, the greedy spider? Well, this is the story from long, long ago. The spider was fond of eating. He ate so much that he was as round as a ball. One day, he heard that Unogwaja, the hare, was giving a feast, but no one would tell him where the feast was because they were afraid he would gobble up all the food. Then, the spider heard that Indlovu, the elephant, was giving an even bigger feast. Spider was very angry, but then he heard that Inyati, the buffalo, was giving one of his famous parties. Spider asked everywhere, but no one would tell him where the party was to take place. At last, Spider called his 3 sons, and he spun a long thread for each son, and he tied them around their waists. Then he tied the 3 threads around his large round body, and he said, "Now, each of you go a different direction, and if you find a feast, give a tug on your thread, and I will come to join you." Then the 3 sons scurried away. The first son went north and found Hare's party. He gave a tug on his thread. Then the second son found Indlovu's feast, and he gave a tug on his thread too. The spider couldn't decide which way to go first. But then the third son found Inyati's party, and he gave his thread a mighty tug. Spider's mouth watered, but his 3 sons pulled him in 3 different directions. The threads pulled tighter and tighter, and Spider's waist became smaller and smaller until Spider fell in a faint. When he woke up, all 3 parties were over. Hare said, "You see, Spider, because you are greedy, you have missed all 3 parties." Spider said, "Yes, I know. From now on, I won't be greedy anymore." And to this day, all spiders have thin waists. Greedy spider wanted to party, wanted to eat up all the food. But oh, spider learned a lesson. Being greedy is no good. Spider, spider, round as a ball, ended up with nothing at all. Spider, spider wanted the nut, but the tiny waist was all he got. Go! Spider, spider, round as a ball, ended up with nothing at all. Spider, spider wanted the nut, but the tiny waist was all he got. So, remember friends, don't eat too much at a party, otherwise you won't be invited again. Hey, from Nandi Nyande, Salani Kahle, goodbye. Hello friends, Sanbonan Banga. Did you hear that? That's the call of a little brown bird. It is called Ingeda the honey guide. Oh, it loves to eat bees' wax, but it cannot get into the beehive by itself. So, when it finds the beehive, it leads a human to the beehive. If Ingeda leads you to the hive, you are supposed to help yourself to the honey, but you should also leave a big piece of honeycomb to say thank you. However, people didn't always share the honey with the honey guide. Let me tell you the story. One day, Ingeda the honey guide discovered a beehive, and he flew to the village to find a person who can open it for him. A young man heard his call, picked up a calabash, and he followed him. At the hive, the men took all the honey and left nothing for the poor Ingede. Ingede said to himself, I'll teach that greedy man a lesson he will never forget. Ingede, the honey guide, searched and searched until he found a place where a leopard had hidden her cubs, right behind the beehive. Ingede flew back to the young greedy man and he called. Young man said, I am going to eat honey again. The young man grabbed his calabash and he ran after Ingede. On and on they went until the young man was exhausted. At last, they arrived at the beehive. Behind the hive, the mother leopard saw him coming. With a roar, she jumped at him. Help! Help! The man screamed. He fell from the tree just like the chicken almost did. Ouch! Ouch! The man cried as the mother leopard swiped him with her strong paws. He had to run for his life. And so, from that day on, people in Africa never forget to put a honeycomb aside for Ingede the honey guide because they are afraid that if they don't, Ingede will lead them to danger. Don't be mingy, don't be stingy, always share. If you don't share your honey with the honey guide, it will make him sad. If you don't share your honey with the honey guide, things may turn out bad. There was a young man in the village. He took all the honey one day. He never left any for the honey guide, so the leopard chased him away. If you don't share your honey with the honey guide, it will make him sad. If you don't share your honey with the honey guide, things may turn out bad. Don't be mingy, don't be stingy, always share. So, remember friends, always share when you received something very good. Don't keep it to yourself. That's Ingede the honey guide. He wants me to follow him. But if I find honey, I'll bring you some. But now, it's goodbye from Tales from Africa. Salani kahle. You're already there. That means it's time for another tale from Africa. Sanbonan bangani bam. That is Zulu for hello, my friends. Today's tale is about bush pig and warthog. Bush pig looks like an ordinary pig and he moves about at night. And warthog is very much smaller. He's got knobs on his face and large curly tusks. And he moves about in the daytime. You will never see them together, and I will tell you why. One day, Mrs. Jackal in Pumushe called Hare Unokwata. She said, Hare, we must do something about Bush Pig and Warthog's friendship. Bush Pig has bad influence on Warthog. He has taught him how to steal. Do you know how Bush Pig goes around at night, stealing food from people's gardens? Well, he has asked Warthog to go with him. And while he steals, Warthog stands guard. Hey, Warthog is going to end up into serious trouble. Hare said, yes, we must get Warthog away from Bush Pig. But how? I'll think about it, Mrs. Jackal, said Hare. Oh, yes, please do. I have talked to Warthog, but he won't listen to me, said Mrs. Jackal. That evening, Warthog and Bush Pig came trotting past Hare's house on their way to raid a garden. Suddenly, Hare had an idea. Hey, Warthog, come here. I have something to tell you. Warthog stopped and he trotted back. Hare whispered into his ear. We are having lovely weather, aren't we? Warthog was puzzled. Is that all you want to say? Yes, he said, and he shouted loud. And don't forget what I just told you. Hey, what did he tell you? Said Bushpig when Warthog rejoined him. Warthog answered, he said we are having lovely weather. Hey, you are lying. You were gossiping about me, Bushpig said. No, I am telling you the truth, protested Warthog. A fierce argument broke out until Bushpig smashed a green pumpkin on Warthog's snout. Ouch! Mrs. Jackal was right. You are a bad friend. I'm not going to go with you again, said Warthog. Laughed her. I have ruined a friendship, but I have saved Warthog from Bushpig's bad influence. Warthog and Bushpig were greatest of friends, but then their friendship came to an end. Hair broke them up by whispering. Bushpig thought they were gossiping. Hiya, oh hiya, when fighting begins. Hiya, oh hiya, nobody wins. Hiya, oh hiya, they both lost a friend. I just want to tell you again. Hiya, oh hiya, when fighting begins. Hiya, oh hiya, nobody wins. Hiya, oh hiya, they both lost a friend. And that's where my story must end. Yes, friends, Hare's plan really worked. For to this day, Warthog stays away from Bushpig. And remember, stay away from bad friends. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Till next time, from Nandinyembe, Salangahle, goodbye. Yes, here I am. Sanbonan Bangani Bang. In Malawi Zulu, that means hello, my friends. Yes, it's time for another take from Africa. Oh, you know, friends, these days, one should never let a stranger into your house because they can harm you. Now, listen to the story of Inkao the monkey and Impisi the hyena. Once upon a time, there was a troop of monkeys who lived in a giant wild fig tree. The tree was so dense that it was dark beneath it and cool, even on the hottest day in the dry season. Once a week, the grown-up monkeys would leave the tree to go and visit their neighbors. They would leave the young monkeys in the care of Kapusi, who was a very clever young monkey. Hyena wanted to have a young monkey for supper. So he crept up under the tree and he called, Kapusi, I want to play with you. Pull me up with the creeper. No, I won't. That's the gruff voice of a hyena who wants to eat young monkeys. Oh, hyena had to leave and he asked Owl Isiko. Owl, how can I make my voice sweeter? And Owl said, ooh, ooh, you eat lots of honey. For a whole week, hyena ate nothing but honey. Again, he went back to the fig tree. From the dark shadows, he cried, my children, pull me up. I have brought you presents. Listen to that sweet voice. Oh, what a kind person. Let's pull her up. All the monkey children cried, and they started hauling on the creeper on which Impisi clung. Kapusi had been away in another part of the tree. When he came back, he saw the young monkeys pulling on the creeper, and he asked, who is that? A kind friend who is bringing you presents. Hyena said it with the sweetest voice he could muster. That's not a friend. That's Impisi's voice. Let go, cried cried Kapusi, and the young monkeys let go of the creeper. Impisi crashed through the branches and thump, he hit the ground. Ouch! Ouch! I will get you! No, you won't. I am too clever for you, said Kapusi. Yes, friends, be careful of strangers, even if they sound friendly. From Tales from Africa, Salani Gahle, goodbye. There you are, as good as new. Oh, hello, friends. Or like we say in my language, Zulu, Sanbonan Bangani Bam. Yes, it's time for another tale from Africa. Have you noticed how unpopular a person is if he or she bullies other children? And that reminds me of the story of Unokwaja the hare and Imfene the baboon. Once upon a time, there was an old baboon who was a most disagreeable character. He bullied smaller animals and took their food away from them. Things went so bad that the smaller animals called a meeting. He ate all my wild figs, cried Monkey. He took all my tree gum, wailed Bush Baby. Yes, and he stole all my sweet potatoes, complained Porcupine. Don't worry, I will teach him a lesson, said Hare. Huh? You are so small. What could you do? Cried the other animals. Wait and see, said Hare. Hare went to Baboon and said, come with me. I have discovered a patch of delicious ground nuts. Hare showed Baboon the garden, and soon Baboon was feasting. He was so greedy that he didn't notice that Hare was tying his tail to a mango tree. Then Hare hopped to the hut of the owner of the garden and shouted, come quickly! There's a thief in your garden! The owner came out with a heavy stick and he hit the baboon. Ouch! Ouch! Cried the baboon. And he tried to run away, but he didn't know he was tied to a tree. Oh, poor baboon. And with a mighty jet, he pulled free and he ran for his life while the other animals laughed. He was taught a good lesson. And to this day, Baboon's tail is bent. Baboon was a bully and took all the food. The other animals thought he was rude, but Hare made a plan and Baboon was caught. A hard lesson he was taught. Don't be a bully, you lose in the end. Just like Baboon, my friend. When he got a beating, he left with a weight, and so got a cake in his hand. Don't be a bully, you lose in the end. Just like Baboon. friend. I'm afraid you don't have friends if you are greedy or a bully. Till next time, Salani Gate, goodbye. Ah, hello there, Sanbonan Bangani Bam. Hey, yes, it's time for another tale from Africa. And today I have one for you about a brave little boy called Gafumbi. Gafumbi was a boy who couldn't run about like his friends. He walked with a stick because his leg had been hurt. One day, all the children decided to go and play at the river. Nomsha said unkindly, Gafumbi must stay. He cannot run so far. You go ahead. I'll follow. I won't spoil your fun, said Gafumbi. Oh, he was so sad because he had been left behind. What the children didn't know was that the Ingwenya, the big crocodile, had moved into the pool. They were playing happily on the sandbank when suddenly there was Ingwenya, the big crocodile. Oh, 10 children. Oh, today I'll have a feast. All of you, over here, onto this island. Ingwenya put all the children onto the island. That's it, he said. You won't escape from here. I'll lie on the sandbank in the sun, warm myself up before I call all my friends for the party. Ooh, all the children were so scared. Nomsha cried, Mama, Mama. Meanwhile, Gafumbi had arrived at the river, walking very slowly with his stick. Oh, Gafumbi loved the river because his leg didn't bother him in the water. He was a strong swimmer. Gafumbi saw the big crocodile lying on the sandbank with his mouth open. Whoa. And all the children on the island. Gafumbi showed them to be quiet. And he crept forward. And he put his stick into Ingwenya's mouth so that he couldn't close it. Oh, and Gafumbi swam to the island and helped all the children to safety.
Oh, thank you very much, Gafumbi. I'm sorry I was so nasty to you this morning. You've saved us all,
said Nomsha. Never mind, said Gafumbi. I'm just happy you are all safe. By the time Crocodile had the stick out of his mouth, all the children were back in the village playing happily, thanks to brave Gafumbi. Gafumbi is a hero, Gafumbi is a hero, Gafumbi is a hero, he saved the children. Gafumbi is a hero, Gafumbi is a hero, Gafumbi is a hero, he saved us all. When the children went to swim in the pool, they never knew that Crocodile was hiding there. But when he was asleep, Gafumbi crept right up and stuck a stick into his mouth. Gafumbi wasn't scared. Gafumbi is a hero. Gafumbi is a hero. Gafumbi is a hero. He saved the children. Gafumbi is a hero. Gafumbi is a hero. Gafumbi is a hero. He saved us all. Yes, we shouldn't be unkind to our friends who are different from us, should we? But it's time to say goodbye from Nandinyambe and Tales from Africa. Salani Gate.